Well, hey everybody, it looks like we're going to go through it again. At least they want us to go through it again, or are going to make it seem like we should. And what am I talking about? Well, first of all, I'm Seth with Everyman Prepping, and I'm talking about the new bird flu. You know, you've heard about what's going on in Texas and many other states. The gentleman that caught it from his cows, and as you saw from my thumbnail, is the worst case of pink eye you've ever seen. You've seen people call it bleeding from the eyes. We're going to go into that, what the possibilities of what they're trying to do because of this, and some other stories that are coming out. But let's go ahead and get started on this. As we do that, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. Appreciate all the support. But what we have here is a Texas dairy worker who caught the bird flu from his cows. That happened back in March. We all heard about that. Now the New England Journal of Medicine is coming out saying, well, he didn't have any signs of the typical bird flu, influenza, fever, snot, coughing, sneezing, all that. He just had the worst case of pink eye you've ever seen. You can see it here in this photo again. It said swabs of the man's eyes and nose revealed that he had the same strain of bird flu, H5N1, that was circulating in the dairy cows. I don't know if you also heard, they're saying the cats died because they drank the raw milk, which they're going to start saying you can't sell raw milk to humans anymore. No more raw milk, no more of that good healthy milk for you people because you're going to die like the cats. Moving on, they're saying that as of Friday, there was 36 herds in 9 states: Colorado, Idaho, Kansas, Michigan, New Mexico, North Carolina, South Dakota, Ohio, and Texas that have been affected by this outbreak. So it's spreading, more scare tactics, more fear going out there. It's spreading. Look at the guy's eyes. If we go to this article here, they're using the same one. The caption under the title is, his eyes were bleeding on the surface due to the virus. That's pretty scary. No one wants to do this. No one wants to look like this. So they're really pumping that out there. They're really trying to get this thing going. And then to make it worse, it says here, the World Health Organization, that great organization we had with the last time we went through this, said that this is a milestone that is of enormous concern. The images of the patient, plus further details about the case, were published in a report by the New England Journal of Medicine, like I said. So the WHO sounds like they're kind of excited. This is a milestone we hit. Yay, we hit the milestone. It transferred over to humans. And it's of enormous concern, more fierce. That's what they're pushing into that. Let's continue here with this one, though. There's some good news here. Well, not good news, just more news. But it says, therefore, rapid implementation of preventive measures is recommended to reduce human exposure to any infected animals and environments contaminated by them. So, rapid implementation of preventive measures. What could that be? Well, usually that's culling of the herd. So we're going to kill all these cattle herds across the country, reduce the beef population, spike prices, reduce food to the people. Yeah, look for that coming and see if that happens. We already know they're killing flocks of chickens. They'll kill millions of chickens at a time. Is it going to go to turkeys? Are they going to say you can't have a cat or dog? We got to, kill your pet if it gets it. How far are they going to want to push this? We're going to have to wait and see how it goes. Now it says here in the last line they have greened out here, data from other countries show the virus can have a fatality rate of more than 50% in humans, according to the CDC. 50%. Remember, COVID was like 1% or 1.1, something really low like that, and people lost their minds, people went crazy, governments went crazy, we shut down the world, crashed the economies for 1%. What do you think is going to happen if it's truly 50%? Is it legitimate? Is it more scaring? I don't know, but if it's 50%, it's game over. You better lock yourself away. Become a hermit, have enough supplies and stuff to wait it out, have a way to decontaminate everything you have. 50%, fatality, that, like I said, that's basically game over time. Now, think about this like long game wise here, basically. Did they have such a huge response to the last pandemic? And then you had so many people, push back and say, I'm not doing that again. I'm not getting the magic potion in here, I never did before, never going to do it again. And so they get that mentality started. So once something comes out the 50% rate, people say again, oh, the government's lying to us. I'm not doing that again, not doing anything for it. And then boom, half the population dies. I don't know. What do you think? Put it in the comments down below what you think they're trying to do with this. Really pumping out this virus. Also, along with this, H1N1 bird flu coming out, look what's going on in California. 170 people likely exposed to tuberculosis in the Long Beach outbreak in Long Beach, California. Tuberculosis, never really happened in the United States before. All of a sudden it's popping up, and now it's a medical emergency in California. What could be cause of that? I'll let you ponder that, and you can write down below if you wish. But it says what we had one death and 9 hospitalizations due to this. Happened in one hotel. They said it was single room occupancy, and it was mostly used by people. I think it says down here. The cases have been tied to single room occupancy in a hotel, which has not been identified to protect the patient's privacy. But you'll find other stories which I've read that also said, this is mainly, happened in the homeless population or people that didn't have homes. So was that homeless? Is that immigrants coming here, from a certain place? Why are these diseases started? But as you can see, tuberculosis on the rise. What else is coming up? We had measles. So just stay healthy. Get that vitamin D, vitamin C. This isn't medical advice out there. It's just, what I do. My opinion, what I do. I take my D, I take my C, I get plenty of sun, some exercise. Could all use more exercise. I could use more myself. But these viruses are really starting to come at us. So let's keep an eye on that. Let's move away from this now and see what else is going out there that is going to be really affecting us, I think, coming up soon. That's the stories I picked today's things I think they're really going to hit on us. And what we have here, you also saw in the thumbnail, is Moscow puts Zelensky on the wanted list. Before, they really haven't gone after him. They could have easily gone after him. Maybe, Russia's fed up. Zelensky and Ukraine just got all the $61 billion from the U.S. plus other stuff, ATACMS, long-range missiles, whatever. Russia's ramped up their attacks. Now they're saying, you know what? Zelensky's now on the wanted list. And, he's now going to be hunted. I don't know if he's going to be hunted by them or arrested or whatever, but it says Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky appeared on the Russian Interior Ministry's wanted list on Saturday. And this is on the left side is, I took from the TASS website where they got it from the ministry's wanted list. I translated by Google Translate on the right. Didn't come out so great, but he's wanted under article of the criminal code. Didn't say exactly what, but he's wanted for that. Maybe he's wanted for that for sending drones into Ukraine and bombing civilian areas. I don't know. His gender is a husband, which is odd. Probably a really horrible translation. He's Ukrainian. This is the date of birth, but that's him. They also put the former president on the list as well. So is it bunker time for Zelensky? Is it time to go hide underground? Is it time to go to another country? Are they going after Kiev now? We'll have to see, but this is definitely a change in the tactics, an escalation. Moscow seems to be very upset at, they're going after infrastructure a lot. I think we're going to get that. Well, we'll get to that in a minute, but they're going after infrastructure. They're taking out the lights, the water, the railways. They're really stepping it up. And I think come this spring and summer, you're going to see some real action going on. And what do you know? We have Ukraine here is asking for the U.S. MQ-9 drones, 3 of which were shot down by the Houthis, by the way, for a new summer operation. I don't know what operation Ukraine thinks they're doing in the summer. Right now, Russia's gaining ground all over. They're pushing them back. Ukraine's having to do a withdrawal. They're calling it a strategic retreat, whatever you want to call it. The only thing that your MQ-9 Reaper drone's going to do is fly deep into Russia and, bomb stuff, right? And I don't know what Ukraine thinks they're going to do with these, or take out the Crimea Bridge with them. Who knows? But I don't know if there's anywhere they're going to get these now, but they would like to have them for a summer operation. I think their summer operation is going to be on defense and giving up large chunks of ground to the Russians. As we go into this from TASS, of course, which is the Russian propaganda site, kind of like CNN is for our current administration. Russian forces carry out 25 group strikes at energy, military, and industrial facilities. That's what I was telling you about. It says here they carried out precision strikes and drones hitting energy, so they're hitting water, electricity, transportation infrastructure. They're taking out railways. They're trying to stop these weapons and ammunition coming into Ukraine. And they also went under military-industrial complex enterprises. They've really stepped it up, and I think this spring you're going to see a big push by Russia to take more land and really put the crush on Ukraine and force them either to surrender, peace talks, or whatever. I know NATO's saying that'll never happen. That means NATO's got to do something else. So it's going to be a very dangerous summer, I think. Spring and summer coming up. Speaking of danger, we have the United States and Russia trying to share a base in Niger. Niger told the United States, get your 1,000 troops and get out of here. We're now having Russian troops come in because we like Russia more than the U.S. right now. We're tired of the U.S. colonization. We're tired of the U.S. in our country. Get out. Russia's coming in. And this is according to RT. U.S. forces reportedly ordered to be combat ready as Russian troops arrive in Niger. Not only did they arrive in Niger, they shared in the base now. They're taking over the base. You can see the tagline at the bottom. U.S. forces are reportedly ordered to be combat ready. Well, let's go into that a little deeper here. We have here Russian troops move into base used by U.S. forces in Niger, says a Pentagon official. It said Niger's military government demanded that Washington withdraw its contingency of approximately 1,000 troops from the Sahel nation following the termination of a decade-old defense deal that allowed them to operate there. You know, it's supposed to be for anti-terrorist, a drone base. Who knows what they're really doing there, but the first, this says down below, you can see the last line. Let me pull it up a little bit in the middle. Russian forces were using a separate hangar at the Airbase 101. And it says the situation is not great and only manageable in the short term. Yeah, you got Americans and Russians on one base. In Ukraine, you have American weapons, American money, killing their brothers, killing their military service members. Their people in the Russian military that are there. So they're killing their friends, their family. Who knows? So you got American money and weapons doing that in Ukraine, and now you got them on the same base right next to each other. It's not a recipe for anything good. Something small could trigger a firefight between the two or something else. Who knows? But they need to get those troops out of there before something happens. It says in the last line, Pentagon announced last week that it will withdraw all troops from Niger while considering other options in the country. Well, I don't think there's going to be any other options. By the way, that's like a $100 million base that's now gone over to Russia, takes it over and gets to use it. The United States also getting kicked out of Chad. The U.S. is losing, like I said, not only its dominance in the dollar, the power of the bully pulpit, it's losing its military might, getting kicked out of countries. The writing's on the wall. So, just take note of that as we go. One of the last few things we have here, Pepe Escobar. He's the journalist that came out last week, a couple weeks ago, saying that the Israel is going to do an EMP strike on Iran. So it's that guy that says his sources told him that that's what they're going to do, and the Russians shot down the F-35, all that. Anyway, that's who Pepe is. Anyway, he's now saying that Moscow is being very clear on what everybody with a working brain already knows. NATO war games currently steadfast defender going on. They're using hybrid and conventional weapons near Russia's borders, and if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it pretty much is a duck. It says, and the duck is clear preparation for a hot war. So Moscow is basically saying, the United States, NATO are preparing for a hot war by doing these drills, which is going to make Russia want to up their drills and preparation on their side, and we just keep going higher and higher until there's going to be a direct confrontation. These F-16s going in soon. They're probably going to be flown by American pilots or NATO pilots because you can't, if you're Russia, you can't tell, they got helmets on, they're flying the plane, you can't tell if it's Ukrainian or not, so why not put American pilots? Why risk an F-16 to an untrained Ukrainian pilot? And they're going to be going in there and taking out stuff, they'll be shot down. If one's captured and they find out it's American, you can imagine what's going to go from there. And what do we have last year? Oh yeah, let's talk about, this is China's brand new aircraft carrier. They're taking it out, they're doing drills, it's their third one. Remember, they have the largest Navy in the world, bigger than the United States Navy. It's a third aircraft carrier. It's going to be floating around Taiwan, of course. And, well, you know where that situation's headed. So I just want to point out there because you can see how it's big. It's not as big as the biggest United States one, but it's their biggest aircraft carrier. I can't remember how many planes it holds, but it holds a large number. And it just came out recently that China's military budget is basically as big as the United States budget. Everybody thought it was around 100 billion or so, but it's no more like 700 billion, close to the United States budget. So if they're spending that, getting ready for the, taking on Taiwan, it's going to happen. They're going to be, as ready as they can go against the United States and against Taiwan. So look out for that to happen. Who knows when, but this all means all these stories rolled up is, first of all, on the home front, they're, pushing the sickness. So make sure you have the stuff you need for that. Whether it be another lockdown, whether it be your protective equipment you want to have, whether it be gloves and sanitizer and soaps and whatever you had last time you think you can use for this. If as that expands, you're going to have to decide for yourself how legitimate it is or not. So take care of that on the home front. Get ready for that. If you need medications, stockpile those too because they're going to start going shortage as well. And then on the foreign fronts, the war, the escalation is building. As Russia takes more land and forces Ukraine further back, NATO's going to be pressured to go in. And if they do, then it's time for World War, and you know it comes with all that. So hopefully you have time this weekend to take care of what you need for all that. Get outside, get that garden going. Spring is here in most places across the country, except for maybe the most northern states where it's still too cold to plant. Hopefully you got some seeds started. Everybody else, hopefully you got that ground worked, going in, getting some fruit and vegetables ready. You're all gonna need this this summer. You're gonna need it because it's gonna save you a ton of money because inflation's still out of control, and they still worry. I didn't talk about financials. I'll get into that in another video. That's enough for today. I've babbled long enough. Until next time, keep your ear to the ground and head on a swivel.